Today, in Virtual Coffee Chat, we're going to be talking about the right to disconnect and how some countries are enshrining it in law. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Virtual Coffee Chat with Lewis. That's me for Think Remote. Let's have that first morning sip. Let's go. Let's do it. Oh, it's hot. It's tasty, but hot. Ugh. Okay. So, Ireland just passed some new government guidance that gives all employees a fundamental right to disconnect from work-related duties when they're off the clock. The guidance was introduced on April 1st, and why would you do this? I don't understand. Why doesn't just everything stop in April 1st? Right? Why would you announce anything of any significant importance in April 1st? It boggles my mind. I mean, people, there are like 364 other days on which to announce stuff. Why would you do this to yourself, to your message? And yet I see loads of announcements on April 1st. I don't know. Maybe it's an insider joke somewhere that I'm missing. That it's cool to announce something on April 1st and leave people guessing. Wink, wink. No, not. I don't know. But anyway, let's talk about the code itself. Well, the code in Ireland gives the right to an employee to not have to routinely perform work outside their normal working hours, the right to not be penalized for refusing to do so, and the duty to respect another person's right to disconnect, right? For example, by not emailing them or calling them outside normal working hours. And I mean, this seems like a pretty good guideline, to be honest, right? Disconnecting from work and work related stuff necessitates a joint approach by employers and employees, right? It's not something, on one hand, it's good that your employer does not expect you to do that. That's cool. But if I'm going to be completely frank, my employee and the employees of a lot of people I know never expected us to do it, and we did it anyway, right? Because the reality is that it's just very easy when you're doing something to keep on doing it if you don't have a physical break, right? Or if you don't have a scheduled obligatory break or something like that. It's really easy to just keep doing it. And that's not so good. I mean, I also know that there's a huge percentage of managers out there that silently salivate at the thought that their employees won't be able to disconnect. But of course, they will also not outright force them not to. They just like the idea. So maybe they don't do anything to particularly stop it. But that's a fallacy. That's a problem because sure, they see immediate gains in the short term, and there are for sure. But I've seen this happen with myself, with my colleagues, with people working for me, that when people have this mentality all the time, not disconnect, when I see someone working, when I see myself working like 12 hours after the work they started, I know that my colleague, whoever is doing that, will start making low quality decisions. Now, the person in it thinks they're immune to it. This is something that the person inside it doesn't see. But believe me, the other people around can see that the person that's working outside of work hours is going to start making lower quality decisions. Maybe not on the first day, maybe not on the second, maybe not on the first month, right? Some people have a higher tolerance for others, but burnout is real and burnout is invisible to the person burning out, right? Many times, not to the person around them. There's a bit of a situation there. But anyway, so I do think that avoiding this kind of avoiding the disappearance of separation between the work time and the non-work time and the leisure time is more a matter of education and self-discipline than of codifying. But of course, it's still good that it's an actual right that is put forward by certain countries, right? That helps. It always helps when something is the default. People tend to gravitate toward the default, so it's nice to have some guidance there. But in general, I actually think that the responsibility is more on the side of leading by example. Part of the reason that I started doing it less and less, and I still do it, I mean, Yesterday, I admit I am guilty. Yesterday, it was like past dinner time and I was still checking in and working on stuff. But I avoid doing that. And the reason I avoid doing that is because I don't want the people in my team to feel that they need to do it. When you are a boss and hopefully an inspiring leader, or at least attempting to inspire, people will tend to look at what you're doing and feel that that's the path for them. If you're overworking, if you're working out of office hours, if you seem to be always on, well, that's going to make others feel like the people working under you, and maybe even some of your colleagues, feel they need to do it. And it's funny, but that's how we are. We're social animals, right? We tend to look at the people that are doing, the most, and feel like, I should be more like that guy or that girl or lady, right? Ultimately, it's a fool's game to be connected all the time. Like I said, and it's pretty obvious, not only by through research, but just by looking at people, that the quality of decision lowers. So people, it's good to avoid it. It's a nice policy to avoid it. Yet it's really hard, right? And regardless of what stance a country takes, both remote workers and employees stand to gain in it by making it easier. Now, special shout out to the leaders out there. Even if you feel you can take it, and even if you really are superhuman and you can take it, don't do it. Why? Because even if you as a leader can log in at the end of the day and be visible and be working and etc., and that will be beneficial to the company, there will be a considerable percentage of people that will try to follow your example. Even if you tell them they don't do it, even if you tell them not to do it, they will still go and say, no, but I love the person I'm working with. I'm inspired by my leader. If he can do it, I can do it. But there's going to be damage. A lot of those people won't be able to do it. And as someone setting an example, it's your responsibility. It's our responsibility to set the right example and to live and work in a way that will be healthy, not just for us, but for the people that are looking up to us. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Don't mistake the fact that if people overwork occasionally, you're going to have a short, burst of extra productivity. In the long term, it's not going to work out. This was the virtual coffee chat with Louis. And it's Friday because I'm not wearing a jacket. So enjoy your Friday. And if you enjoyed this conversation for Think Remote, please share, like, and subscribe. See you next week.